Oh, hi. I'm Jen, and welcome to my vlog space. And today I thought I would do a little vlog, a Tappy Talks, on how to care for your tap shoes. This is something that's come up in a lot of my in-person classes, but also I've gotten a lot of messages about it, like, hey, so my tap shoes are getting really dirty really fast. What am I doing wrong? Or my shoes aren't lasting as long as they used to. What's going on? Do you know? And so I came up with a list of things that I do to help my shoes last a lot longer. And I wanted to share that with you. Disclaimer, I do blow through shoes quicker than a lot of tap dancers. And it isn't because of how I take care of them, it is just how much I use them. I want to say on average, I tap dance at least 20 hours a week. That's a lot of hours to put in your shoes. And then that's not including if I have a show or 3 that week. So I do tend to blow through shoes a little faster than some, and I'm only saying that because if you know me, you know that. But I also know how to care for a pair of shoes and make them last a really, really long time, or at least as long as it can, depending on your level of use. So hopefully these tips are really useful to you. And yeah. Okay. First one. Don't wear them on a floor that is not meant to be tapped on. And we are not about to have the debate about marley versus wood. That'll be a different video. Wear them on marley, wear them on wood, wear them on a dance surface, a polished dance floor, even like, a convention center dance floor is fine. What I mean is don't wear them on like the concrete or brick or cobblestone. Don't wear them on that because that will rip up not only your taps but also the leather. Try not to use them in grass either, because while grass seems like a very soft thing, I know, why would you use them in grass? But like sometimes you perform outside and you gotta like get from the sidewalk to the grass, so you walk in your tap shoes. If you can avoid that, do it. If you can't avoid that, just don't like start practicing your tap in the grass. Like I said, it seems like a soft surface, but there are a lot of little rocks and twigs and sharp things or that exist in the grass that you don't know that you're scratching your shoes with. So if it's not a surface that's meant to be danced on, don't wear your tap shoes on it, because that's the easiest way to wear your taps, like the metal of your taps down, but also the leather. So be aware of that. I have my little list down here, so I'm cheating a little. The next one, this is going to sound strange, but like, don't sit cross-legged. In your tap shoes, when you're in the dance studio, don't sit cross-legged on the floor. When you do, or if you do, you might start noticing the side of your tap shoe is getting a little like dirty or smudgy. And it's because when you tap dance, a little bit of the metal residue does come off on the floor. It happens. It's why our pristine floors from Omera Floors turn from like the nice color of my shirt to the color of my Leo that's under the shirt, right? Is that not what happens? You get like this black in the center. That's from the tap metal wearing off. And if you sit cross-legged on your dance floor in your tap shoes, the sides of your tap shoes are resting on the metal residue, and it's going to pick up the metal residue. So don't sit cross-legged in your tap shoes if you want to keep the sides of them nice and clean. It is possible to polish that off, but like if you could just avoid having to do that extra work by not sitting cross-legged, it works. I had to tell one of my company dancers that. She's like, I don't know why the side of my shoe is so dirty. And I was like, it's because you sit cross-legged on your floor and look at your floor, and that is why your shoe looks the way that it does. And she's like, oh, I did not put 2 and 2 together. And we usually don't. After we're done dancing, we just sit down because we're tired and we don't think about it, but it will really help the longevity of your shoe and also keep them prettier for longer. So yeah, don't sit cross-legged. On that note, wipe them down. Even if you didn't sit cross-legged and you didn't let the actual color part of your shoe, whether it's white, black, or just, blue or red or something, even if you didn't let that touch the dance floor and pick up the metal, you've got the bottom of the shoe, like, how right underneath the tap, there's that like leather part that always gets black marks on it where the ball of your foot goes? Yeah. So that gets black, but also we just pick up random dirt and dust and all kinds of stuff on our shoes. Wiping them down after every rehearsal or show, or at least once a week. I would say minimum once a week. Just wipe down your shoes with like, depending on what you want to use on your shoes. Honestly, I use a Lysol wipe and it works just fine. It doesn't damage the shoe. It doesn't disintegrate any of the material or anything. And it really keeps my shoes not only like looking nice, but also sanitary. So, because our shoes touch the floor. I don't know, like, if anyone's a germaphobe like me a little, but Lysol wipes do wonders for me. But it also, I started wiping my shoes down because in the COVID era, we want to sanitize pretty much everything, right? So I started wiping my shoes down, and what I noticed is that my shoes were way less dirty all the time. And it actually helps, like, not wear it down so much. If you're using a Lysol wipe, don't use the ultra wet ones, like, you know, at the bottom of the can, how, like, if there's just a couple left, they're, like, ultra wet. Squeeze them out first. You don't want to get your shoes wet. But, like, a quick wipe down with a Lysol wipe, or just like even a microfiber cloth is fine. You don't even need to use any liquid at all. Just a microfiber cloth, just wipe it down, get some of the dirt and grime and gunk off them. And it'll help keep the leather in good shape, but it'll also help just keep the taps in good shape and clean. So those are some really, really good tips that I've found. I have more. We are not done. Keep them in a separate bag. So, you know how dancers, we like to just like throw all of our shoes into our bag and like call it a day? Yeah, you get the dirt that's on every single shoe on every single shoe that way. If you throw your point shoes or ballet shoes into your dance bag and don't put them in a separate bag, your shoes are going to get a lot dirtier a lot faster. And the same goes for tap shoes, especially since, I mean, the tap shoe thing goes both ways. Because of the metal residue, you don't want that getting on your ballet shoes or your ballroom shoes or your contemporary, what are those called? It's like half a shoe, but you know what I mean, half soles or something. You don't want the metal residue and the dirt that you picked up from tap class to get on that. And you also don't want any of the dirt that you've picked up from like rosin on your ballet shoes or point shoes, or like jazz shoes. Maybe you wore your jazz shoes outside and those still have like little like dirt on it. You don't want that getting on your tap shoes. So one of the things I found that really helps me out, and it's kind of a pain because you have to keep so many little bags within a big bag, but it really helps my shoes last longer and look prettier and just smell better, to be honest. Is to keep each pair of shoes in a different bag. Now, if you're just a tap dancer and that's the only kind of dance that you do, that's fine. You don't need to listen to this because you're not gonna have multiple shoes in a bag. But if you have it like in a gym bag, have a little drawstring bag. You can get them for like $3 at Walmart or something, or even $1 sometimes, like at the dollar store. Just get a little drawstring bag to throw your shoes in before you put it in your bag. Because again, if you have it in your gym bag, you've got like, if you have like weight gloves, you've got the residue from the weight bars and stuff on those, and those get pretty dirty and sweaty. So keeping your shoes in a separate bag is super helpful. And also, it gives me an excuse to buy really cute drawstring bags. I have such cute ones. I have like a Star Trek one, and I've got a Q*bert one. I love that one. And I stole Sean's unicorn one. It's a really good excuse to just buy like little cheap drawstring bags. I get them at cons. They're so cute. Okay, and more. Here's a big one. Untie them before you take them off. And trust me, I am the biggest culprit at not untying them. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, shh, and I'm like, oh, that was a bad idea. Untie them before you take them off and put them on. Why? Because the more friction you have to use to get them off and on, the more the back of the shoe, where like your heel goes, you're going to rub right through that fabric. That's how that gets like holes in the fabric. And we've all seen it in the JSAMs, like because it's soft fabric, you can wear a hole in that if you don't take care of it. I prefer the JSAMs because of that soft fabric. The other shoes are a little hard on the inside and not very nice on my tiny, tiny heels. I have really, really thin heels. So they tend to rub a lot in the back of the shoe, and the J Sams, it's like rubbing against a pillow, and I love that. If only they would make them vegan. But one of the ways that you can make sure to keep that like really nice for a really long time is just untie your shoes before you take them off, so that it's easier to get your foot out and you're not putting too much force as you like that kind of pressure as you take your foot out is going to wear the material down a lot more than that kind of pressure, you know? So just keep the material nice and treat it well. And then my last tip for you guys today, weird one, I guess, in the era of COVID, but don't share your shoes. Not just for like hygiene's sake. If you guys are like wearing socks, maybe it's different, but if you're going to be barefoot in your tap shoe, which some of my shoes I do wear barefoot just because of the way that they fit, the way they feel, don't share shoes from a hygiene perspective, but also you know how you want to treat your shoe. You know what your shoe's limitations are as far as like the amount of abuse that you can put it through. And if you let somebody else use your shoe, you don't know what they're going to do with your shoe. You don't know that they're going to treat it right. You don't know if the shape of their foot is going to reshape how you've had like major grooves in your shoe. You know, like when you sit on a couch for a really, really long time and you always have your part of the couch, like a Sheldon kind of thing. You know how it like you get a groove in the couch because it's your spot, so it knows your body and it has like a little groove that's U-shaped. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't. I don't know. But your shoes kind of do that too. As you break in your shoes, you have like, you get like a groove in it and it knows the shape of your foot. It kind of, as the leather stretches, it stretches to form better around your foot. Loan somebody else your shoes and the shoe goes, wait, what? And so it's going to change its shape a little. And the next time you put it on, it's not going to fit the same. Even if the person has smaller shoes than you, that might even smaller feet than you, that might even be worse because then you get that friction again happening on the inside that might wear the cloth on the inside down. Because if their foot is smaller, the kind of sliding around in the shoe, it's not this much, but you know what I mean? They're sliding around in it a little bit more, and that could cause friction, which could cause the cloth to get holes in it. And just in general, you just don't know how the other person is going to treat your shoe and reshape your shoe. So I don't recommend sharing shoes. I have old pairs of shoes that I'll bring to class that are sanitized and clean because bit of a germaphobe. I have old pairs of shoes that I'll bring to class that I'll let some of my students use if they forget their shoe or if they're new and they don't have shoes yet and they just happen to be my size. I have a pretty standard size of like 8.5, 9. This is pretty standard size foot. So I bring extra pairs for people, but those are not shoes I plan on wearing again. Those are like my older dead pairs. They're still usable, but not for the force and abuse that I put them through. So when I retire a pair of shoes, it has a second life as a borrowed pair of shoes. But it's not a pair of shoes that I'm going to go perform in because now it fits somebody else's foot. You know what I mean? Anyway, I hope that these tips really helped you. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. And it comes a few months after I answer the question of what kind of shoes should I get? Because I've had a lot of students ask me that, my in-person students as well as my YouTube students. Like, what kind of shoes should I get? And I kind of just, my ultimate recommendation is the shoe that fits your foot best. And a lot of times you're not going to find that out until you try them, which is why I always recommend going to a local store to order at least your first pair of shoes. But also shopping local helps people out. If you haven't seen my vlog channel with Sean, we're big fans of shop local and shop small. But so going to a dancewear store locally to have them size you, order your first pair, make sure that they get the right pair in. If the pair that they order doesn't fit, they can send it back and get another one for you to try. That's really what's going to help you find the shoe that works for you at first. And then after that, if you for convenience sake need to order it, then order it, But how to take care of the shoe is the question I get a couple months after that. Where people are like, hey, so like, how do I make this not happen? Or why did this happen? So yeah, I really hope that you guys found this helpful. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button and join the Tap fam. We've got Tappy Talks vlogs with lots of good insight like this. really informally done as well, which I prefer because I'm just a very informal person. We've got choreography tutorials, step tutorials, technique exercises, challenges, fun extras. You know, we've got everything tap dance that you could ask for. And if it's not here and you're asking for it, it'll probably end up here because I take your suggestions very seriously. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Also, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you found this video useful and you think other people might too, because YouTube loves the thumbs up to help their algorithms. So hit the thumbs up for me. Hit the subscribe button, and as always, thank you for dancing with me.